Bring out Jidin!
What is friendship all about?
Remember to click like, subscribe, the bell notification, and whatever else YouTube has you clicking on to support us. Welcome back to another glorious Garo review. I am the Kaiju no Kami from the Toku and Animation News Network. Tonight, I'm taking a look at the next installment in the Ryuga universe, Garo, God's Fang. God's Fang appears to be in a bit of a conundrum. It was originally planned to be released shortly after Goldstorm Sho had ended in 2015, only to suffer a massive production delay. The film fittingly premiered at a film festival on Halloween in 2017, and then hit regular theaters in January of 2018. Like Goldstorm before it, it was written and directed by Keita Amemiya, and continues the adventures of Ryuga and Rian. Can God's Fang live up to Goldstorm? Watch to find out. The characters and plot. We've got several characters returning in what feels like a recycled plot. After defeating Jinga and Amari, Lion City was pretty much returned to normal operating procedures. Ryuga and Rian went back to defending the city from horrors, while Gold, Haruna, and Daigo went to their respective homes. Haruna and Daigo do make a cameo in this film, but they don't do anything at all, which was very disappointing.
すみません、リアンさん。
いいのよ。気をつけてね、二人とも。
心配ない。ガルドも一緒だからな。
Ryume, Diringo, and Yukahime also appear to be in their goth phase as their clothing and surroundings look completely different from how it was in Goldstorm.
やっぱり知っているんだね。
はい。共にゼドムを封印した仲間です。
その仲間が。
まったく、困った時だけやってきやがって。
悪いね。ちゃんと借りは返す。
当たり前ださ。
母ちゃん怒らせると怖いぞ。
Aguri and Takeru make their return to the franchise as they have come to Lion City well, I don't exactly know why they are in Lion City. They just are. Takeru seems to have not changed one bit at all from the one who shines in darkness.
だったらなおさら許せねえ。その事情つうやつを俺らに黙ってやがる。あいつはよ。
On the other hand, Aguri shows how he took Ryuga's advice to heart, as his bow can now act as a baton in order to perform melee attacks when he is not using ranged ones. Anyway, a couple of horrors are looking for an arc that will take them to the moon to empower them forever, and learn they will need to resurrect a fallen Dark Knight in order to do so. These two are Rinza and Boel.
箱舟が旅立つ場所は分かった。
しかしあれだな。人間から教わるなんて情けねえな。
うるさい。
Both seem to be played by musicians, as Sayaka Sasaki is Rinza, while Boel is some dude under the nickname Kuki.
こいつはお前の鎧を。私らはお前の肉が狙いなのさ。分かったか、黄金騎士さん。
鎧切られたら食いねえかんよ。
Boel makes me think of Gluttony from Fullmetal Alchemist.
なあなあ、あれ食べていい？
いいけど食い散らかすなよ。ボエル、どっちも食っていいよ。はい。
In order to accomplish their goal, they join up with the Makai priestess whose lover was a knight that fell to darkness by the name of Banbi. Hiroko Yashiki is Banbi, who has been in ABCs of Death, the live-action Rurouni Kenshin films, was featured in the Biku movie, and is the motion capture actress for Bayonetta.
あなたの手には剣それは私
バンビ
久しぶりだなアグリお前に頼みがある
Banbi tricks Aguri into giving her his armor, on top of stealing Takuru and Ryuga's to use it in a ritual to bring back Judo, her deceased lover. Regretfully, Rinza played Banbi for a fool and she ends up resurrecting the wrong Dark Knight. Any guesses who it is? I'll give you a hint. It's the one that makes Narutaki cry.
誰さあな俺にもわかんねえ
And with Jinga's resurrection, the movie really starts to fall apart as it now becomes a complete rehash of the second half to Goldstorm Sho. Jinga creates the arc atop a skyscraper, leading the inhabitants to panic and fear as they start to be torn to shreds by human-looking horrors. Yeah, the horrors must be suffering from their human phase. As to be expected, our heroes must traverse the building to stop Jinga. You can pretty much figure out how things are going to play out. We've got Jinga confronting Ryuga in the throne room of the Ark, just like they did in Ladan. You know, if they can rehash the same product, why can't I?
Die, monster! You don't belong in this world!
What is a man? A miserable little pile of secrets!
Now, there are some pretty awesome sequences to be found here, as we've got a horror with the weirdest weapon ever. Man, this movie's gone to the dogs. There's a room Rian enters full of horrors too busy staring at their iPads to notice her. Then again, with how much toxicity there is on Twitter, they probably realize they have a better meal there than they do inside that building. Among the films I've reviewed up to this point, Red Requiem, Lament of the Dark Dragon, Goldstorm, and this is easily the weakest of the bunch. It's just too much of a rehash. There's also very little in the way of armor action, and while it works for story purposes, it's very disappointing to have Aguri and Takuru back, only to see them use their armor like twice each, and even those sequences are limited. Not to mention that their armors are still friggin' CGI. Like, what the hell, Amemiya? All of the new characters are pretty worthless and barely do anything. Banbi's arc is done the moment Jinga is resurrected. Rinza doesn't even actually get called by her name during the film. I had to look it up online, and she does even less than Banbi. As for Boel, outside of his single monster form scene and the opening of the film when he devours a professor, he's useless.
Huh?
Yes, you. I could not believe this film was done by Amemiya because it was all style with no substance. Now, I would be lying if I said I was not entertained, but this is not one I would really go out of my way to watch. Except I will state that the post-credit sequence was freaking awesome. The effects and music. After Goldstorm, and considering this is a theatrical film, the effects took a massive downgrade. CGI armors, CGI horrors, fight sequences that are very brief. You would think Arrow was back in charge of this film rather than Amemiya with the way it is executed. Thankfully, the effects are a lot better than they were in The One Who Shines in Darkness, but pale in comparison to Goldstorm Sho. I like how Boel's monster form blocks the light pulse that is above him despite him being animated. Additionally, since the horrors were all normal looking people gothed out, it did allow them to perform a multitude of stunts that showcase some really good looking encounters. Fight choreography remains spectacular. And I got a kick out of the dog gun. There is no denying that the battle between Jinga and Ryuga was not as fantastic as it was in Goldstorm Sho. I just wish it didn't feel so familiar. The bard from the beginning of the Goldstorm movie returned, but instead of doing another first-person bit, the camera follows a bunch of characters who are stealing a wallet from each other. And yes, that is the same wallet. We're also shown that Ryuga's mental training takes place at the Shaolin Temple from Mortal Kombat in the colorless world of Zack Snyder.
Your brother's soul is mine. You will be next.
It should be obvious by now who is in charge of the soundtrack. Jam's project opening theme for the film is titled Kami no Kiba, the Fang of Apocalypse. It's fine for what it is. There seem to be two separate pieces making up the end credits sequence. One is an alternative version to a song Bambi sang in the film before resurrecting Jinga. The other, performed by Sasaki, appears to be called Izayoi no Okuri Uta Ending Side. After coming off of Goldstorm, God's Fang feels like a downgrade. It's a total letdown. Albeit it's an entertaining film, just not one I will revisit often. I hope Ryuga's final adventure is an improvement. I guess I'll find out when I conclude Halloween month. Until then, bye.